You are listening to the Atlanta Real Estate Forum radio show, Around Atlanta edition, showcasing the best of Metro Atlanta, our communities, the attractions, and the special events that make Atlanta great. Welcome to our virtual town square. And now, here are today's hosts.
Good morning and welcome back to the Around Atlanta edition. I'm your host, Carol Morgan, joined in studio by my co-host and friend, Todd Schnick. First, before we start the show off, we'd like to thank our sponsor, New American Funding. They're our 2021 show sponsor. It is our 11th year on air. Certainly could not do what we do without them as a partner. So thank you, New American Funding. Todd, can you believe it? We have survived Thanksgiving and Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And I don't know about you, but I'm almost done with all my holiday shopping.
Well, no one in my family is getting any gifts. Everything of mine is still on a ship in the Pacific Ocean, stuck before it gets to port. So maybe they'll get it by spring.
It's sitting off the coast of California, huh? So much for all those toys. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to today's conversation. We are joined in studio by Cindy Williams. She is the CEO of the Cartersville-Bartow County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Cindy. Take a few minutes and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, good morning. It is so good to be with you guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Again, Cindy Williams, and so chamber work is really all I've ever done. So 15 years in the chamber industry. So I'm probably one of the few that just right out of college figured out what I wanted to do, and it stuck. So that's all I've ever done. I got to give a shout out to all of my Auburn fans. So I'm an Auburn grad with a business degree, undergrad from Piedmont College and an MBA from Auburn. So we're not having the best of seasons, but we're still loyal fans there. So.
I don't know what she said. I heard "Go Dogs." How about you, Todd?
That is not at all. If you edit that, you're in trouble.
Just doing a little Seminole here. That's all. Even though we don't apparently no longer have a football program. So moving on.
It could be worse for me, is what you're saying, Todd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, it's been a long time since I've been active in the Chamber of Commerce. And I remember when I just started my new business and got into I was in the Cobb County Chamber of Commerce. And I was blown away by just all that was going on, and realized it was so much more than just being a support mechanism for my business. And I can understand why you're enthralled with that business and the deep tie-in you have to the community and how you serve the community. So I can understand the joy you get from that work. So the Cartersville-Bartow County Chamber of Commerce, overall mission and purpose, how are you guys serving?
Yeah. So, well, and you really hit on the actual mission is to serve, promote, and add value to businesses in the community. So I'll start there. But then the question is, how do we do that? Gosh, there's so many ways, right? So the reason that sometimes I'll start with this by saying that a lot of people, they truly do not understand what a chamber does. Chamber of Commerce, they've heard the terminology, they know the name, they know they exist. Typically, they think we have a great reputation, so that's good. But the true nuts and bolts of what actually do you do is one that we find that we spend a lot of time explaining. So probably the easiest way to kind of cull that down a little bit is to say that we assist local businesses, right, through things like marketing opportunities, because we have printed materials, we have digital materials that help to promote the local business community. Members, those who pay a membership investment, can access various resources to reach out to other businesses in the community. It's a huge network of collaboration among businesses. That's why oftentimes people will associate networking events as part of the benefits of membership. That's probably what is most common on people's minds. But then also we offer, educational classes, right? So you have business owners who they may have learned a skill or a trade. They may have never dreamed they would actually own their own business. And so we can help to kind of fill in the gaps there, whether it's teaching them QuickBooks or HR. There's a lot of HR legal things that small business owners may need to know. So the other thing I like to say, though, is just I like for our chamber to really just serve the needs of what that business wants. We have a sheet that just lists out everything, all the benefits and what you can get. But where I find the true value coming in is when a business person says, Cindy, I have this challenge. How can you help? And I guarantee you our team will go to work to make that happen.
It's fantastic. Well, I've had the pleasure of being a member of the Cartersville Chamber for, I don't even know how many years. You'd have to look it up, Cindy, but I think pretty much since I moved my company up here in 2000, I guess it was 2001 that I started doing business in here and not in Cobb. So I think there's a trend here of people moving from Cartersville and Cherokee and places on up to Bartow. But, I know that you work with businesses once they get to Cartersville, but will you talk a little bit about what attracts businesses to the Cartersville area and what's so fantastic about doing business in the city?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if you ask any of our local leadership that same question, I think the unanimous response would just be that there is a cooperative and a collaborative environment in Bartow County. That's among the municipalities, the local government. And I know that kind of may seem a little vague, but truly when you have a core team of people who believe in serving the local business and making the environment right through whether that's ordinances and legislation and various types of things, they truly are pro-business. We truly are pro-business, and that makes everybody's job so much easier. So the collaboration, the support mechanisms throughout the community, you will see that is tremendous. But we can't overlook the fact that we're right off of 75. We have 7 interchanges off of the interstate. That makes accessing any part of Bartow County very easy for folks. And it drives a lot of traffic to our area. So, we have a large population, but we also have a large visitor population. We have some tremendous tourism assets that draw visitors in. And then, of course, we have vibrant downtowns as well. We have a lot going on that attracts people for a great quality of life for them or their employees once they decide to live here or just do business before and after the workday.
Yeah, no, it really is a great community, and I'm not surprised that the chamber's thriving, the community's thriving. I mean, Carol, she and I have been doing this show for 11 years, and has always been very fond of her community. So, I mean, it's a great place to be. I was nodding my head earlier when you were talking about the networking.
Yes,
I mentioned that I joined a local chamber, and I did it selfishly to plug in to those networking opportunities, and it worked. My business quickly got a lot of clients, and I was the typical small businessman that suddenly had too much work in his hands. It was, and I attribute that all to the networking. But there's so much more that a business can do with the chamber, and you've already touched on a few of those. But go a little deeper. I mean, that networking is a powerful element to what your organization's all about. But there's so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much more. So the piece that I see people will engage in oftentimes. So here, let me start by saying this. So often when somebody decides not to renew a chamber membership, and I have done no formal research on this, but the number one reason is I just don't have time to show up for the events, right? And I just want to scream like, there's so much more than just the events. No doubt, to your point, Todd, that will help to elevate. We like to do business with people we know, we trust, we see at local events, we see out and about. That will elevate, the revenues of your business. But the truth of the matter is, what I like to say is there's kind of this undercurrent of community development. So the chambers do the work that people often do not see, and they just don't know who does it, right? It just happens. They think, it just happens. It just happens that there's a great business environment. It just happens that you make these connections with your peers, and it just happens. But it doesn't just happen, right? There's somebody working behind the scenes to make sure that all those things are in place. So one of the real values is supporting, again, the mission, which includes the broader community. You can join the chamber for the selfish reasons, and don't be ashamed to do that because they work, and you should. And I'm proud of you, Todd, for doing that. But don't stop just because all of a sudden you can't attend an event. So, and we're going to talk, I hope we're going to talk a little bit about the workforce side of things, which of course is a big topic these days with all employers. And we'll share some of the things, that we're working on there. But truly, there is so much more to a chamber than just those events.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things for me, and it was kind of funny because it was perfect timing. I guess it was 2019. I'd kept hearing about Leadership Bartow, and I'd had people invite me to join Leadership Bartow. And every time, and I think I even said this to you before, Cindy, every time I looked at the dates, I'm like, I just can't do it. I had too much travel. There's just too much going on. And for whatever reason, in 2019, all the planets aligned, and I was able to participate in Leadership Bartow. And to me, it was just such a phenomenal way to network with other people and learn more about the community and, find out a little bit more about the inner workings. But talk a little bit about that program and its benefits to the community.
I love Leadership Bartow. I have to be careful. I'm not supposed to choose favorite programs in the chamber, right? So I always have to say it's one of my favorites. But little insider tip, it might be my very favorite. But no, Carol, you're absolutely right. So Leadership Bartow is an annual program. So it kicks off each year in August and wraps up in February. So those who participate commit to once a month meetings to meet with their groups. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that program as a whole. But you're nominated, you're selected. It starts with membership in the chamber. But other than that, it's really just a desire to, one, be more involved, two, be more connected, and then really a commitment. I think there's a commitment. We don't make you sign paperwork, but beyond Leadership Bartow, we expect you to take all of that talent and all of those connections you've made and give back in some way. So participants can expect that they'll show up. There will be leadership curriculum. We always, touch on various things with leadership. But yes, I think the value of the program beyond just the leadership skills is the connections that you make with obviously your classmates. And there's usually about 30 participants each year, but within the community as well. So you'll hear from the mayor, you'll hear from the commissioner, you'll hear from local business and industry, plant managers, small business community. It is a great way to engage. And I have had people say, I grew up here. I've lived here all my life, but I thought, well, why would I go through Leadership Bartow? But then they did. And they're like, I see the community in an entirely different light. And it's always very positive.
Well, Carol, I remember you being very fond of that experience. And if you're listening to this and you're not in Bartow County, just know that your local chamber probably has their own program just like it. So I've known hundreds of people who've gone through a leadership insert community here that changed how they think about their community and it changed their business. So, I mean, it's not just a Bartow program. That program exists everywhere. So look into it. All right. So you mentioned workforce development. We want to get into that. So let's just dive in. Why is that so important? Why is that such a key focus?
Yeah. So if the employers are listening, they're going to understand this immediately, right? So we're going to take a kind of a look pre-COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And even then, so workforce has always been competitive, right? Everybody's always competing for the best talent, and that's good, and that's healthy, and that's a wonderful thing. This is not a new issue. Now, we would be remiss if we did not say that COVID has introduced all kinds of new challenges with workforce, right? So you've got various reasons that people are not re-entering the workforce since COVID, and that can be from childcare purposes, that can be from safety purposes, and retirements. We are seeing so many people who they spent a period of time at home. They realize, you know what? I have the financial means just to stay at home. I love my grandkids. I've enjoyed spending time there, and I'm done. Like, I'm out. Yeah. So there's so many factors that are affecting this workplace shortage in terms of just number of people, sheer number of people. And then always and forever, even before COVID, we've had a skills gap. So we have done a great job as a society the past 10, 20 years saying, go get a college degree, go get a business degree. Okay, that's what I did. I know, like, go get a history degree, go get a whatever. And those are worthy and wonderful degrees. But we've discounted technical degrees, the hands-on degrees, your heating and air, your plumbing, all of those types of things. And so we've kind of created an additional problem there that we're seeing shortages in some of those areas. It's important to us because it's important to the business community. That's why we're focusing on that now.
Fast credit approvals, accelerated loan processing, expedited underwriting. Call your New American Funding loan officer today to get pre-qualified. For more information, call New American Funding at 678-898-3540. That's 678-898-3540.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that, Cindy, is I think you're taking it a step further. Not only did we all say, go to college, you'll get a great job. And that's true, right? But we didn't say, go to shop class, take home economics. Not only did we not say that, but we removed them from the schools. So, we've got a couple of generations that didn't even have the opportunity to work with their hands in shop class or to figure out how a sewing machine works or, any of those things that, back in the day, in the dark ages when I was in school were really, quite standard. So I think we've got a lot of work to do in this area. But
and those are lucrative careers.
Exactly.
You're not making minimum wage here. I mean, these are serious, and oftentimes 6-figure gigs.
Tons of statistics out there. And it's interesting because in a lot of cases, these careers that, I think in some ways we've thought about as male dominated careers are careers that more and more women are getting into because you can close the wage gap in these careers. So it's definitely something worth looking into. And I'm glad you guys are focusing on it. And I understand that you have hired a new member of your team, a workforce development director. Tell us a little bit about them and what their day-to-day focus is going to be.
Okay, sure. Yes. So that was a new position for us in 2021. We've never had that, a workforce development director. So we went through the search process and now we have full-time Matthew Thomas, who is on our team. And that is his all day, every day, working with companies to better understand, where they're at, the things they've tried, and then also to share the resources of what he is learning is available. So the first piece of his role is to, of course, to share what we already know. There are already resources existing in this community that people just don't know about. And so we're trying to bridge those gaps. What is education doing? How can that translate into the employer side of things and vice versa? And then also, in addition to that, is to create, right? So there are programs we can create. There are things that the chamber can lead on such that we will be able to, share that with folks and then hopefully help them. There is no magic bullet to workforce. There's not like a way we can turn on a switch to say, okay, all of a sudden, here's a pipeline of employees. So we're going to have to do some diligent work, but we're prepared to do that.
It's very cool. I can't wait to hear the results of that program and to get to meet him in person and welcome him to the team.
Yes.
Of course, another thing that I love personally about Cartersville and Bartow County is the opportunity to shop local. Our downtown area and then just, retail in general is phenomenal. There's all sorts of, fun, cool little shops. So as I finish up my Christmas shopping, I plan on doing it here in town. Talk a little bit about Cartersville's growing downtown and some of the opportunities that folks who are listening have to, shop local for the holidays.
Yeah. So just like Todd said, really regardless of where anybody is listening from, whether it's Bartow County or any of our neighbors or beyond, as far as that goes, I will say that it is near and dear to my heart that you really take care of your local merchants first and foremost. And I know in a day and time when everything is so convenient to just go online or go on the app and order and do, that I realize there's some convenience there. And I would never expect that 100% of anyone's purchases are going to come from their local downtown business, right?
Right.
But small shifts, just walking in a store and just making one purchase or two purchases, 10%, let's say, of your Christmas list, you move that back locally versus doing it online. It is really, if you think about it, it is the lifeblood of our communities that we support these small businesses. And I can't say it enough. And I'm not saying I don't get tempted sometimes to just, it's just so much easier to do it. But the truth of the matter is, if you, wherever you are, like walking downtown and eating at a local restaurant and having the shops available, and you like the visitor traffic, which lowers your personal taxes. I mean, you like having a job, you like having your children have seasonal employment. If you like those things for your community, the first and foremost thing you need to do is think about shopping locally, and the holidays are a perfect time to do that.
Well, it's probably going to be a cooler product anyway. It's probably going to it's probably be a more unique gift. There'd be more of a story behind it than just having something shipped direct from Amazon. So there's a lot of. Plus, your local community is probably going to be all decorated for Christmas. It's going to be just a neater experience. So there's a lot behind that. So 2021 has been an intriguing year. It's been a good year for you guys. I imagine you have a lot of ambitious plans for 2022. What can we look forward to hearing about?
Yep. So we just went through our strategic planning process with our board of directors. And so Workforce development is not a one-year thing. It's been our focus, of course, heavily in 2021, but that will carry forward into 2022. We anticipate launching a separate site, a hub of resources for our business community, separate from what the chamber offers. And so, again, knowing that there's a lot of knowledge out there that people just don't know about. So what we did is we wanted a digital hub of resources and a human hub of resources, such that it's available either and both ways to our business community. So we're looking forward to launching that site in 2022. And then the other major focus for us is the engagement piece. And I'll be the first to say, like, okay, you're just going to engage chamber members. Why did that make a strategic plan? But the reality is, as we started out, so many people that go into business, they really don't know what a chamber can do to help them, to support them, and to lift them up. And also, we've got this push for minority-owned businesses, and how do we make sure that we're taking care of minority-owned businesses? And we just want to be more intentional about that. We want to make sure even our existing members recognize that others within your organization can take advantage of these resources. There might be a peer group we had one today for our Safety and Environmental Council, so the plant manager may not know that, or the small business owner may not know that, but regardless of where you are in the organization and what your title is, there is probably some kind of tool available to you in the local chamber.
It's the resources, to me, that are the secret gem of being involved in a chamber like yours. I mean, you mentioned just one example at the very top of the show, like QuickBooks training.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone would benefit from that. And there's so much more. I mean, so I don't think people realize the resources that you have available to them. That in and of itself is a powerful. Well, 2022 looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty cool year. We'll have to have you back on the show to continue to see how you guys are serving Bartow County. So good stuff. Well, Cindy, we're about out of time. So before we let you go, should anyone need to connect with you and learn more about the chamber, where do they go?
Yes. So I think right now, the main place to get all of the information is going to be the website, of course, Cartersvillechamber.com. I will say on there that there are job postings. So again, if you're looking for work and specifically interested in Bartow County, check those out. There is a list of events for the members, even though we don't want that to be the focus, but member events as well as community events, even some of the shop local events you will find on there. So we want to encourage people to continue to do that. And just, again, member benefits so that you can kind of check that out. We are also active on Facebook and Instagram, and you can just search up Cartersville Chamber and you can find us that way, and you'll see, all the openings of new businesses and all of the ways that we're celebrating and the good work we're doing in the Bartow community.
Job listings. I didn't even think about that. Just, again, open your eyes to just what the chamber is all about. Great stuff. Cindy Williams, the CEO of the Cartersville-Bartow County Chamber of Commerce. Cindy, great to have you. Thanks for stopping by and joining us.
Thanks so much.
All right. Well, that wraps this week's Around Atlanta edition. On behalf of our show sponsor, New American Funding, my co-host, Carol Morgan, I am Todd Schnick. That is all the time that we have for today. Thank you for tuning in and listening. And I look forward to seeing you again right here next week. We'll see you then.
Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio is made possible by Denim Marketing, the publisher of Atlanta Real Estate Forum, Atlanta's favorite source for real estate and home building news. Denim Marketing is a comfortable fit, like your favorite pair of jeans. Denim Marketing tailors marketing strategies to meet your specific needs and niche. Try them on for size. They will work to create a perfect fit for your company's marketing program. Call them at 770-383-3360 or send an email to info@denimmarketing.com. For more information on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio or to inquire about being a guest, contact info@atlantarealestateforum.com. Check out the radio show by visiting atlantarealestateforum.com or by listening to the show on your favorite podcast app. And if you enjoyed today's broadcast, we'd sure appreciate a rating and review on iTunes. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio.